Hey, it's a burpee thing. Hey, it's a burpee thing. Hey, welcome everybody to It's a Burpee Thing. Today I am cooking a paella rice dish. They make it over in, I think, Spain and Argentina. This is all the ingredients that you need for it. You got chicken, you got seafood, sausage, vegetables. It's a lot of stuff that goes in here. I will definitely put it down in the description box on everything that I use. But you got the red peppers, the green string beans, the onions, garlic, mussels, clams, chicken broth, and right here is Spanish paprika with some kosher salt and some saffron strands that I had to muddle. So these are all the ingredients, and I also got this online when I bought my pan, paella. Yeah, paella rice, and when I bought my pan. So this is the rice that they use. So let's see what happens. This is my first time making this, so I'm excited. So here's a pan. This is the pan I got online. I will definitely put it in the description box. Right now I'm putting in some olive oil. So I'm going to let that olive oil heat up and get nice and toasty and hot. So that way when I add the other ingredients that I need to add to it, it'll be nice and hot. So this is the first time I ever made this, and I saw it online, and I also saw it on the Food Network. And I said, you know what, I gotta make that. It looks so interesting, and it looks so good. So the pan's heating up real good and everything, so that's good. I wasn't sure if the pan was going to heat up right. Okay, so now I'm adding in the red peppers and the chili. That's right, I forgot to tell you there was a nora chili on the table also that I had crushed up real good to add to give it a little kick, little spice, not too much because you guys know how my husband is. But I'm sauteing that stuff right now in the pan, making sure that it softens up, and just saute it real good. And now I'm gonna add layers to this dish. So I'm gonna be seasoning throughout the recipe. So just keep an eye out. You know, it's levels to building a recipe and building a meal. So they're sauteing really good and everything. And the peppers, I don't know if you can see them. I crushed them up real small. Now I'm going to add some salt. Remember when I said the layers? So I'm adding a little bit of salt and on top of that. And I'm going to stir that up real good. And let them saute a little more in the pan. So, like I said, this is the first time I ever did this, so I'm like, excited to see how it turns out, and if my family will like it. So those are sauteing pretty good. They're getting soft. So now they're soft enough. So I'm going to take them out the pan, and I'm going to put them into my bowl. So I'm going to take them all out and put them into my bowl. And then excuse me, then I'm going to step to the next ingredient. But make sure you get all them peppers and all that, because you don't want anything to burn in there. So I tried to get all the pepper, the nora chili and the peppers all out of the pan. So now I'm going to add my chicken. And when you add the chicken, make sure you put the skin side down, because that way it'll fry up real good, and you'll get like a crispy top to it, and it'll brown and caramelize. So right there, I'm putting the chicken in skin side down. I already put salt and paprika on the other side. Just, layers of flavor. So I'm trying to flavor the chicken now, so that way that'll have a flavor by itself without any of the other ingredients. So I'm letting all the chicken on skin side down, and those are thighs. I just used what was in the house. They were telling me that, I could cut a chicken up and use the pieces of chicken, but I got thighs and drumsticks in here, so I'm going to use what I have in the house, and you can use what you have in your house also to make it. I wouldn't suggest chicken breast though. You need something that's going to hold moisture and be nice and tender after everything's done. So you keep checking you'll know when it's time to turn them. The skin will like loosen up off the pan, and then you'll be able to turn them. So, but you know, you just gotta be patient because I'm a nerve wreck when it comes to that. I want to check and see and see. So just let it sit. Just let it sit, and it'll brown up on its own. So I'm gonna put some salt on the top of the chicken thighs and the drumsticks to give it some more flavors, you know, layers of flavor. And now I'm going to add some of this Spanish paprika to it on top of it. More flavor, more seasoning, more good taste. So I'm adding that, and I can't wait to try this. I know it's going to be really, really good. Goodness gracious. So that's the Spanish paprika on top. So I'm letting the chicken brown some more on the one side. And I'm going to start to probably flip them in a couple of minutes. Because they're browning, but they're not all the way brown. But as soon as it loosens up a little, I'm going to start turning them to let's see. I think I may let them sit for a couple more minutes to see what happens, because they're still really sticking. So I turned them all over, and they brown, but they didn't brown like I really, really wanted them to brown. So I'm letting them sit in here longer and to cook. So it's on the other side now, and letting it brown and cook. And I'll probably, you know, do some turning of them and just making sure that they brown up and they cook. Because you remember, it's flavor, flavor. You're building the flavor levels in when you're cooking the chicken and you're browning. I'm trying to get it a little crispier. So, but I think the pan is so big and I have it on my center burner. It's like majority of the heat is probably in the center, but they say that these pans heat up all the way around. So I'm hoping that, you know, it browns a little more. So I'm going to let them sit here for a couple more minutes and see what happens. You see, I can't stop picking. So now I'm going to take all the chicken out and put it on the dish. So you take all the chicken out and you put it on the dish. I'm trying to see if I can get it a little browner. So that way, you know, you have a little crispiness to it. But we're just going to take them out. Let me take them all out and start to the next level of seasoning and getting it together. All right, so these are the last couple pieces that I had. I was trying to brown them a little more, so I'm just going to take them out and get the other stuff. Do not clean the pan. You see all that goodness in the bottom of that pan? Do not clean the pan. Just continue to cook everything. All that goodness right there is going to marinate whatever broth or whatever you're going to do with your pan. Do not. So now I'm stir frying the onions. That was one small, medium, well, like a medium small onion that I sliced up. And I'm sauteing that. And with that, I'm also going to add the 5 cloves. Yes, 5 cloves of chopped garlic. I think I may have put 6 or 7, because I really like garlic. And garlic is really good for you. So I try to put garlic in everything that I cook. So I'm sauteing this. Let it, you know, saute and trying not to burn it. Please do not burn it. Keep an eye on it. Keep turning it. Keep moving it. And as soon as the onions turn translucent, you could start adding, you know, the other ingredients. But just keep an eye, because garlic, when it burns, it's horrible. It's not a good taste. So I'm stir frying it up a little bit more, keeping it moving. And the next thing that I'm going to add to it is the diced tomatoes. So that's a can of diced tomatoes that I use with the juice. And I'm going to saute that in there and scrape all that goodness off the bottom of the pan. You see all that goodness? Just gonna, scrape and get all that goodness off the bottom. So I have it sitting there right now, so that way it can start to marinate and loosen the stuff on the bottom. So I'm stirring it up and scraping the bottom as I stir it up, so I can get all that goodness and all that stuff from the chicken off the bottom of the pan. Remember, that's all flavor. You're building a flavor profile here. So there's the tomatoes, onions, and the garlic. And, it's on a little simmer. So I'm going to add the chicken broth next to this. Simmering some more. But then I add the chicken broth to it. Looks like it's good. All right, let me add the chicken broth. Okay, so here's the chicken broth. And it's 4 cups of chicken broth that I added in there. So that's supposed to come to a simmer. The couple of recipes that I had looked over, it says it's supposed to come to a good simmer. And when it starts to come to this good simmer, add the paprika. So I'm just mashing it down some more because I saw some strands of the saffron. So I just added that paprika, salt, and saffron mixture to the chicken broth, tomatoes, garlic, and onions. And I'm stirring it a little. So it says to bring it to a boil before you add the chicken back in. So I'm trying to bring it to a boil. I almost forgot. You got to add the clams in. Excuse me. The clams is next. So you put the clams in, and this pan didn't come with a lid. And I know that the clams need to, some kind of steam to open up. So I had just used some foil to cover it, so that way they'll open up faster. So just cover it up for a couple minutes and let it just, let the steam build up. And then here we go. I looked through it, opened it, and I saw that some of them were opening. So I'm just going to keep the foil back and just keep an eye, because they're just popping open. It's so decent how they just pop open. They slowly open their mouths. It's awesome. So I wonder if I'm going to get all the clams that I put in here. Because when some clams don't open up, you have to throw them away, because apparently the clam was dead when you put them into your broth. So I'm hoping I get them all. Let's see. I got 3 more. Come on, babies. Open up. I'm hoping that they do. Let me move them into the heat a little more and see if they'll start to pop up. But it's crazy because they slowly open up. I guess they're tired of trying to keep the heat in, so they slowly open up to just, I guess they just give in. So are these going to be a winner? Yes. They all opened up. So I put them all in a bowl because it says for you to take them out as soon as they open. They look so good. And I tried one when I took them out. And, man, the seasoning and the flavoring from that Spanish paprika is all that. So now it tells you to add the chicken back in. So I'm going to add the chicken back in. Add each piece back in nicely. And I'm putting skins up, it looks like. So I'm putting the skins up. And they say to put them into the broth. And then after you put them into the broth, then I have to add that rice that I told you guys about. The rice that I got offline, that's for the paella. I think it's called paella, if I'm not mistaken. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. Please forgive me if I'm not. But you let the chicken sit in there for a couple of minutes, and then you put, I put 2.5 cups of rice. My recipe called for only 2 cups, but I put 2.5 because my family likes rice. And what you do is when you put the rice in, you nestle it around the chicken. You make sure that it's all in the broth and the chicken, and make sure that you spread it throughout the whole dish, like the whole pan, because that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to move everything around so that way all the rice is in I guess you would say the broth, the gravy. And then I'm just trying to nestle the rice around the edges and add the rice. But I use 2.5 cups. So, I know my family likes rice a lot, like I said. But, you do your judgment. You still have, you can always add chicken broth if it seems like, all the rice is sucking up everything and it's not done all the way yet. But now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. Here come my mussels. So it says in the recipe to snuggle them into the broth around the chicken. So I'm going to sit them all around the chicken and around the broth. Hopefully they all open up for me like the clams did. So I've nestled them all in. And after I put those in, it tells you to put all the other ingredients. Excuse me. So that seems like enough. Yeah, that's good. So now I'm going to add, excuse me. Now, as that sits there and simmer, I'm going to add my sausages. I'm adding all these sausages. These sausages are so good. They have like a little spice to them and everything. Really, really good. So all paellas are different. You can do a whole seafood one and add like a white fish instead of the chicken. You can add lobster to it. I mean, it's endless possibilities of different stuff that you can add to this paella rice recipe. So there I am adding the shrimp. They say just to add the shrimp to the top of it and try and nestle it into the broth. But I have like so much in here already. So, I'm improvising. So there's my string beans. I'm adding the string beans to it because my family needs vegetables always. So, but you can use peas also. One of the recipes said that you can use peas, but I decided to use string beans because we like them more. And, I forgot a couple of shrimp, so let me sit those in. So after I do that, with the string beans, I'm going to add in the rest of the ingredients. Oh, no, I don't. Excuse me, I put the foil on it and let it cook for a little bit. Remember, I don't have a lid for this, so I'm going to put some foil over and let it cook. And then there it is. I added everything back in, and that's the finished product. Look at that. I added the green peppers and the clams in, and I put some lemons on top. And that's what it looks like on a plate. Bon appetit, guys. I hope you try this recipe. And I catch you on the fly. Peace.